We live our lives swimming in a sea of invisible signals: Wi Fi, Bluetooth, radio waves, all of it. And yeah, it connects our world, but it also leaves us exposed in ways we almost never stop to think about. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden digital dangers that are lurking in the devices you use every single day. Just think about your morning. I mean, before you've even had your first cup of coffee, how many times did you connect to something? Well, what if I told you that in just those few minutes, you were probably exposed to a bunch of different cyber threats, and you didn't even have a clue? So, to make this really hit home, we're going to walk through a totally normal morning routine. We're going to pinpoint the exact moments you become a target, all based on what the experts we've been studying are saying. Okay, picture this. It's 7:15 a.m. You're heading out for the day. A thief sitting in a car down the street could jam and clone your car key signal. Easy. 5 minutes later, as you pull away, they capture the radio frequency from your garage door opener. And then, by 7:30, you're in that chaotic school drop-off line. A simple bump is all it takes for someone to wirelessly skim your credit card info right out of your pocket. I mean, that's 3 huge risks, and your day has barely even started. And this is the big idea, really. It is not just about your phone or your car. The cybersecurity experts we're looking at are super clear about this. If it has a battery and it connects to anything remotely, you have to assume it's vulnerable. Or maybe even that it's already been hacked. You're probably picturing some hacker in a dark basement surrounded by giant glowing computer screens, right? Well, the reality today is way, way different. The tools they use for these kinds of attacks are now smaller, cheaper, and honestly, easier to get than you could ever imagine. Say hello to the Flipper Zero. Now, it's sold as a proof of concept toy for tech hobbyists. But here's the catch. With a few simple software tweaks, this little thing becomes an incredibly powerful multi-tool for messing with pretty much the entire digital world around us. Just look at what this one little device can do. With the right program, it can tap into public Wi-Fi, it can read and straight up copy the radio signals from your car keys, it can clone your office access badge, it can skim data from credit cards, it can even control the TV at a sports bar using infrared. And that's the real insight here. The barrier to entry for this kind of digital mischief has basically vanished. It is a true Swiss Army knife for hacking. All right, so let's zoom in on just one of these features to see how it works in the real world. You're at the airport or maybe a coffee shop, and you connect to their free public Wi-Fi. For a hacker, this is like finding a perfect hunting ground. So the technique they use is called a man-in-the-middle attack. And honestly, the name says it all. A hacker basically puts their device right between you and the internet, and they just listen in on everything you send and receive. So here's how it goes down in 4 simple steps. First, the hacker scans for the names of all the real Wi-Fi networks around. Step 2, they create fake networks with those exact same names. 3, you see airport-free Wi-Fi, you connect to it, thinking it's legit. And bam, just like that, step 4, the hacker is watching everything you do online. Your passwords, your private messages, all of it. Okay, so we know the dangers when we're out and about. But what about the threats we literally invite right into our own homes? This is where the risk gets a whole lot more personal. I just want you to read that quote for a second. This comes directly from a cybersecurity expert who found out his own smart vacuum cleaner was connecting to a server in China, a vacuum mop. He realized that at any moment, it could be used as a secret backdoor to take over his entire home network. And this isn't some one-off weird device. No, this chart shows why the problem is potentially so huge. About 90% of our consumer electronics are made in China. And look, this isn't about politics, it's just about logistics. It means that vulnerabilities can be built into the hardware or the software from the very beginning, which makes them incredibly hard to find. So why on earth does a vacuum cleaner need an internet connection? Well, it's for one simple reason: data. Your smart devices are constantly listening, collecting all this information about your daily life. And this data is insanely valuable, even more valuable than your search history, because it captures things you only talk about, not just things you type. And then all that information is used for what's called retargeting, to hit you with super specific ads based on your private conversations. Okay, so up until now, every attack we've talked about requires you to do something, right? You have to click a bad link or connect to a sketchy Wi-Fi network. But what if the most dangerous attack out there required nothing from you at all?
That's the terrifying reality of something called a zero-click exploit. The attack works without you doing a single thing. This is the top tier of cyber weapons, stuff used by government-grade spyware like Pegasus. An attacker can send a single invisible message to your phone. You never see it, you never open it, but boom, they now have complete control. And there is, quite literally, nothing you can do to stop it from happening.
All right, I know what you're thinking. A spying vacuum cleaner, an unstoppable phone hack. It's really easy to feel totally and completely helpless. But here's the good news. While you probably can't stop a major nation-state attack, you absolutely can defend yourself against the most common, everyday threats. So let's stop talking about the problem and start talking about the solution. Here are 5 simple, actionable things you can do right now to seriously beef up your digital defenses. First, and this is the most important one, use a password manager. Seriously, stop reusing the same password for everything. Second, get some expert help on your side. Install a good antivirus program. Third, for the physical stuff, get an RFID-blocking wallet to protect your cards. Fourth, listen to your web browser. If it flashes a big red warning that a site is unsafe, believe it and get out of there. And finally, number 5, just use your common sense. If an email or a text or some deal seems way too good to be true, that's because it always is.
Look, this connected world we live in is awesome and convenient, but that convenience comes with a cost. This isn't about being paranoid, it's just about being aware. So we'll leave you with one last question to think about every time you connect. Your data is valuable. Who are you entrusting it to?